Over the years, the ETs have told many contactees that they will share their technology with us, saucers, anti-gravity, unlimited free energy, and replicators. What is less appreciated is that they will also share with us their spiritual understanding. We can partially summarize that as the 3 T's and the 3 C's. The first T stands for telepathy or mind-to-mind communication. Instantaneously moving objects across space and time is known as teleportation. Telekinesis means moving objects mentally without physical contact. The first C stands for clairvoyance, the ability to mentally see the future. Clairaudience means hearing other dimensions non-physically. Knowing something with no prior knowledge is called claircognizance. Most people know it simply as intuition or a gut feeling. If you read back over any of the stories in this book, you will find that each involves one or more of these spiritual abilities. On the new earth, the ETs say that these capabilities will be widely accepted and taught to children from birth. If so, humankind will begin to live the way the ETs do, which is radically different from the way nearly all humans live. When these 6 abilities are in widespread use, the positive implications will be immense. Most of our technological advances, which admittedly are primitive by ET standards, will no longer be necessary. If people use telepathy, they don't need cell phones. People don't need automobiles or airplanes if they can teleport. If everybody uses telekinesis, they don't need cranes, bulldozers, or backhoes. If everyone is clairvoyant and can see the future, they are less likely to get into accidents. If people are clairaudient, there is no need for grief and mourning, because they can talk to friends and family members who have passed on. And last, if all people are claircognizants, there's no need for computers, internet searches, or books. Someone can simply ask a question within and get an answer. When these abilities become widespread, there will be one curious casualty. Personal names. In the several dozen ET encounters by Frank, Max, and John, the ETs never used personal names for themselves, and they rarely called these 3 contactees by their names. Why? The ETs don't need to use names. When someone is fully telepathic, they instantly know all there is to know about others, who they are, where they're from, what they've done, and what they plan to do. They don't need a name because they instantly know all there is to know about another person. The ETs often talked with Frank and John about their view of the connection between spirit, mind, and body. They say that most people on Earth are prisoners locked inside their bodies, while the ETs are in full control of matter and energy. Frank sometimes used this analogy to explain what they meant in his sessions. When you get into your automobile, you're the car's driver. You don't climb inside and suddenly think to yourself, I am this car. And yet, most people do that with their physical bodies. Their spirit climbs into their physical body and thinks I am this body. That's simply a mistake. The human spirit gets in and out of its human body, just like a driver gets in and out of a car. Frank also often said, everyone is seeking freedom and happiness. It's just that most people are looking in the wrong places. Happiness can be found by getting rid of the feeling that you can't have happiness. Just get rid of negative feelings, and you will be instantly happier. Frank discovered a lot of his happiness by practicing what the ETs told him. He didn't just accept it blindly, he proved it for himself. Along the way, the ETs suggested several spiritual techniques that they said would help people move higher. One of the first ones that Frank used was from Paramahansa Yogananda, an East Indian spiritual teacher who founded the Self-Realization Fellowship, also known as SRF. Yogananda also wrote a best-selling spiritual classic called Autobiography of a Yogi. Frank first met that teacher when Yogananda walked through his wall into his living room. Frank already knew who he was, but was surprised to see him. Yogananda had been dead for about 5 years. When he came through the wall, Yogananda pointed to Frank's unread gift copy of the autobiography sitting on the table and said, "Read that." Frank, always independence-minded, said, "What for?" Yogananda responded, "Just read it, you'll see." Frank did, and it changed his life. Frank grew to understand that Yogananda was a highly evolved spiritual teacher that could do everything the ETs could do, all of the 3 T's and 3 C's and more. Yogananda's autobiography gives dozens of examples of telepathy, teleportation, clairvoyance, and claircognizance. It shows how we can live the way the ETs and advanced spiritual teachers do. Howard Menger also met Yogananda. One day, when Howard visited Frank's house, the autobiography with Yogananda's picture was on the table. As Howard walked past, he glanced at the photo briefly and then stopped stone still. Picking up the book, he looked closely at Yogananda's photo and said, "Frank, I've seen that guy. He was on one of the ET ships." "Who is he?" Frank said, "On a ship? Yogananda died several years ago." Howard looked puzzled. "Dead?" "He wasn't dead when I saw him a few days ago." After that, Howard recommended that people who attended his classes read Yogananda's autobiography and study the spiritual lessons put out by Self-Realization Fellowship. There was one other spiritual technique that the ETs recommended. They encouraged Frank to tell people about the Sedona method. Anyone can learn this simple, but powerful technique through reading a book, taking classes, or using the free iRelease app, which is available to Google Play Store or the Apple Store. Here is a description from the app about the Sedona method. The iRelease app is your personal guide to your natural ability to release or let go. You can get rid of whatever limiting thought, feeling, or belief about yourself and life that appears to be holding you back. When you do that, you feel an inner sense of happiness, fulfillment, and well-being. It can be used anytime and anywhere. It is a simple yet powerful way of accepting whatever you're feeling in the moment, getting to the root cause, and allowing it to dissolve naturally, or release. By freeing yourself in this way, you open up to your unlimited potential. Check out the references at the end of this book. There, you will find more information about Yogananda and about Sedona method classes and about the free iRelease app for your phone. These techniques allow everyone to advance spiritually, which the ETs say is essential for establishing contact with them. If you are already practicing a spiritual technique, you can simply add these to what you are already doing. Techniques like these are crucial for remaining clear-headed and balanced through the disastrous Earth changes ahead. If you want an ET ship to lift you above all of Earth's problems, it is essential to be ready.